People often shy away from the hardest battles life throws at them. They avoid pain, deny harsh realities, and settle for comfort instead of growth. But you did the impossible. While others ran from the process of transformation, you faced it head on. You confronted every challenge, every setback, and every moment of doubt without backing down. This wasn't just about survival, it was about mastering a journey most never dared to take. You moved beyond fear and hesitation, breaking free from limitations that held so many back. What you've achieved is rare and remarkable because you chose to endure, to grow, and to rise stronger when others simply gave up. If this message speaks to you, take a moment to hit that like button, subscribe to help us reach 5,000 subscribers, and leave a comment below. Your support fuels this community of unstoppable people. This is your story of triumph, a testament to the strength that comes from walking the path few have the courage to follow. Most people tend to shy away from the battles that feel too raw, too painful, or simply overwhelming. The moments where life throws punches so fierce that it feels easier to look away or pretend they don't exist. These are the struggles no one wants to talk about, the ones that happen behind closed doors, in silence, away from the public eye. But it's in these quiet storms where the most profound battles are fought. You've stared into the abyss that others run from, and in doing so, you entered a world of courage few dare to tread. There's a certain loneliness to this path. When everyone else chooses comfort and distraction, you stand alone with your pain, wrestling with the demons inside that no one else sees. The tears you shed in private, the nights you spent questioning your worth, these moments are invisible to the outside world, but have shaped you in ways nothing else could. It's a solitary journey that demands you to confront every raw, ugly piece of yourself without the luxury of escape. What makes your story powerful is not the avoidance of pain, but the deliberate choice to face it head on. While others bury their scars under layers of denial or numb themselves to reality, you sit with your wounds and allow them to teach you. This unseen struggle, the one that breaks most people, is where your foundation was built. It's a silent battle, but one that has forged your unbreakable spirit. Imagine a world where pain was a doorway rather than a wall. For many, pain is a signal to stop, retreat, or run. But for you, it was the spark that ignited transformation. You didn't just survive the unseen struggles, you let them mold you into someone fierce and unyielding. This is a rare kind of bravery, one that only the strongest possess, and it sets you apart in a world where comfort too often wins. In the end, this struggle that most avoid is your secret weapon. It's the reason you stand taller than those who never faced their own darkness. Because you know the depth of despair, and yet, here you are, not just standing, but thriving. This is the first chapter of your victory story, the beginning of a journey that others couldn't even imagine taking. When life's storms descended, many chose the path of least resistance. They folded under pressure, letting fear and doubt dictate their actions. But you made a choice, a defiant, bold choice to fight. You stepped into the arena when everyone else retreated to safety. This wasn't about reckless bravery, but a deep understanding that true growth only comes from facing what terrifies us most. The decision to stand firm amid chaos is one few make willingly. It means rejecting the easy escape routes, the soothing lies, and the temporary relief of avoidance. Instead, you chose the hard road, the road filled with late nights wrestling with your demons, days spent rebuilding broken trust, and moments where giving up felt like the only sane option. But surrender was never an option for you. It was a word that belonged to others, not your story. Choosing battle means embracing uncertainty, pain, and the unknown. It means acknowledging the scars you carry, but refusing to be defined by them. This choice separates the ordinary from the extraordinary because it demands relentless courage. You became a warrior in your own right, not because you had no fear, but because you moved forward in spite of it. In every trial, there is a moment where the soul chooses its fate. Yours said, "I will fight, I will rise." And in that choice, you tapped into a reservoir of strength that had been lying dormant. This inner fire carried you through betrayals, heartbreaks, and loneliness, transforming every setback into fuel for your comeback. Your battle is not just a fight against external forces, but an internal revolution, a radical commitment to your own growth and truth. While many gave up and disappeared into shadows of doubt, you emerged battle-worn but undefeated, ready to claim the life you deserved. The idea of healing as a neat, finite process is one of the biggest myths we tell ourselves. Society often presents healing as a destination, a place where pain disappears, scars vanish, and everything returns to normal. But real healing is not linear or tidy. It's a continuous, evolving journey that stretches beyond the boundaries of time. True healing is more about transformation than restoration. It's not about erasing the past or pretending the wounds never existed. Instead, it's about integrating those experiences, learning from them, and allowing them to reshape your perspective on life. Healing changes your DNA. It rewires your emotional landscape in ways that make you stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. You've come to realize that there is no finished line. Some days you may feel invincible, others fragile. That's the paradox of healing. It lives in the tension between strength and vulnerability. The scars you carry aren't just reminders of pain, but badges of resilience, proof that you endured when giving up seemed easier. Healing is also deeply personal. No one else can dictate your timeline or judge the depth of your wounds. What matters is your commitment to moving forward in your own time, embracing setbacks as part of the process rather than failures. The world may rush to label you fixed or broken, but your story knows the truth. Healing is an ongoing masterpiece in progress. Understanding this myth frees you from unrealistic expectations and the pressure to be whole overnight. Instead, you celebrate every moment of growth, every tear shed, and every lesson learned. You become the artist of your own healing, painting your story with strokes of courage, patience, and love. Life can throw you into fires so fierce they feel like hell itself, places of despair, betrayal, and loss so profound that most people would instinctively turn away. But you stared straight into the flames. You didn't flinch or retreat when everything inside screamed to run. You faced your hell head-on, knowing that this confrontation was the only path to freedom. There is a brutal honesty in standing firm amidst chaos. It means accepting the harsh truths about yourself and others, no matter how uncomfortable. While many shield themselves from reality, you chose to face it, no matter how raw and painful. This courage is rare, a testament to your unyielding spirit. Facing hell isn't a moment, but a series of grueling battles. It's the heartbreak that shatters your sense of trust, the loneliness that isolates you from even those you once loved, and the relentless challenges that threaten to consume your soul. Yet, with every challenge, you learned a deeper truth about your own capacity for endurance. By embracing your darkest moments, you transformed what could have been your undoing into your greatest strength. The fire that could have burned you to ashes instead refined you, forging a character marked by resilience and clarity. You emerged not just intact, but transformed, ready to rebuild your life on your own terms. This journey through hell is not something everyone can understand, but it's the crucible that made you who you are today. It's proof that true strength isn't the absence of pain, but the mastery of it, rising from the flames, unshaken and unapologetically real. One of the most painful realizations you faced was that no one was coming to save you. There was no knight on a shining horse, no fairy tale rescue waiting just around the corner. Instead, you found yourself alone in the storm, forced to become your own hero, your own warrior. This moment of solitude could have broken you. It could have been the point where despair overwhelmed hope. But instead, it became the catalyst for your empowerment. You stepped into your own strength, refusing to wait for permission or salvation from anyone else. You became the architect of your own destiny. Becoming your own warrior means learning to trust yourself deeply, trusting your instincts, your judgment, and your ability to survive even the harshest trials. It's a radical form of self-reliance born not out of arrogance, but necessity. You realized that your power was always within you, waiting to be claimed. The path of self-rescue is lonely and challenging. It demands grit, patience, and a fierce determination to keep going, even when hope flickers like a fragile flame. But it's also liberating because you learn that you are enough. Your courage and resilience are proof that you don't need anyone else to save you. You have always been your own champion. This transformation is your victory. It's the moment when you stopped waiting for life to get easier and decided to rise anyway. You became unstoppable because you refused to be dependent on anyone else's mercy or grace. But you've discovered its true power, the way it opens the door to genuine strength. When you allowed yourself to be vulnerable, you stepped into an authentic space where true resilience is born. It wasn't about surrendering. It was about revealing your scars to light so they could transform into sources of power in those moments when your defenses fell and your raw emotions surfaced. You found clarity. You saw what really mattered, what needed healing, and where your boundaries should be set. Vulnerability became the crucible that sharpened your resolve. It was the first step in saying, "I will not be broken by my pain." What separates you from many is the ability to hold space for your vulnerability while cultivating unshakable determination. This balance creates a razor-sharp resolve that cuts through doubts and distractions. You learned to face your fears without flinching, using your emotions as fuel rather than chains. Consider the people who inspire us most, those who dare to show their true selves in a world quick to judge. They are not flawless, but fierce, because they embrace their imperfections and push forward anyway. You embody this truth. Your vulnerability doesn't make you fragile, it makes you formidable. By leaning into your vulnerability, you've crafted a resilience that is deep and enduring. This resolve has carried you through heartbreak, loss, and isolation, and it will continue to guide you as you forge your path forward, sharper and stronger than ever. Betrayal cuts deeper than almost any pain. It shakes the foundation of trust, leaving you raw and exposed. While many retreat and build walls to protect themselves, you faced betrayal's brutal lessons with a fearless heart. You didn't let bitterness consume you. Instead, you chose to learn and grow from the wounds. This kind of pain forces you to question everything: your judgment, your worth, even your place in the world. It's a lonely road littered with shattered illusions. Yet, where others might have succumbed to anger or despair, you mined your betrayal for truth and insight. You realized that this heartbreak, painful as it was, held a strange kind of wisdom. Embracing betrayal means embracing vulnerability and courage at the same time. It means standing in your power while forgiving, not for others, but to free yourself from the poison of resentment. This is a lesson that requires immense emotional strength, one that you mastered against all odds. Your experience with betrayal became a powerful teacher, showing you who you truly are beneath the pain. It exposed toxic patterns, false loyalties, and gave you the courage to rebuild your life on firmer ground. You emerged more discerning, more self-aware, and fiercely protective of your heart. This lesson, brutal as it was, became a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. You transformed betrayal's sting into a catalyst for growth, turning scars into symbols of hard-earned wisdom and unbreakable spirit. There's a haunting emptiness in watching the people you once held dear slowly fade away, whether through betrayal, growing apart, or life's inevitable changes. This loss cuts deep because it's not just the absence of others, it's the loss of shared memories, hopes, and trust. You've experienced this grief intimately, and it shaped you profoundly. It's one thing to lose strangers, but when those you loved disappear, it feels like losing a part of yourself. You grappled with waves of loneliness, confusion, and aching nostalgia. You wondered how connection so strong could unravel, how love could slip through your fingers. This painful experience taught you that sometimes letting go is the hardest act of love. Yet, amidst the sorrow, you found unexpected clarity. You learned that relationships are not always permanent, and sometimes endings are necessary for new beginnings. You discovered the importance of self-love and self-reliance when the people you depended on were no longer there. This experience made you fiercely protective of your own heart and deeply aware of the impermanence of life's connections. But it also extended your capacity for empathy and forgiveness, both for others and for yourself. Watching loved ones disappear was a heartbreak, but it was also a profound lesson in acceptance and growth. Ultimately, this loss opened space for new relationships, ones grounded in mutual respect and authentic connection. You survived the disappearance of others, and in doing so, you learned how to stand strong even when the world around you shifts and changes. Silence can be deafening. Sometimes the loudest cries come not from spoken words, but from what's left unsaid. You know this intimately, those moments when silence fills the room with tension, confusion, and pain. When people withdraw, ignore, or refuse to communicate, silence becomes a weapon that wounds deeper than any argument. You've lived through silences that screamed betrayal, loneliness, and rejection. You felt the weight of isolation when no explanation was offered, when no reassurance came. This silence forced you to confront your own thoughts, doubts, and fears in brutal solitude. It was an emotional battleground where every unanswered question echoed endlessly. But silence also became a mirror. It reflected what others could not or would not say. It revealed truths about relationships, about yourself, and about the boundaries that needed to be drawn. In the absence of words, you found a deeper language, a conversation with your own heart and soul. Silence taught you patience and resilience. It challenged you to hold space for uncertainty without crumbling. And most importantly, it showed you that sometimes the loudest statement is made not by shouting, but by standing strong in quiet dignity. You learned that you don't need others' words to validate your worth. Your silence became a form of power, an unspoken declaration that you will no longer tolerate pain hidden beneath the surface. Endurance is often overlooked in a world obsessed with quick wins and instant gratification. But true power is born in the quiet, relentless act of enduring, persisting through pain, rejection, and hardship without losing your core. You embody this kind of strength, the kind that doesn't seek applause or recognition, but simply keeps going when no one is watching. Silent endurance is about holding steady when the storm rages around you. It's about waking up every day and choosing to face your challenges, no matter how heavy the burden feels. This kind of power is subtle but profound, built through thousands of small acts of courage that accumulate into unshakable resilience. Your endurance isn't about stoicism or suppressing emotion. It's about embracing every feeling while refusing to be defeated by it. You've weathered heartbreaks, betrayals, and isolation, all while carrying yourself with grace and determination. This is the true mark of strength. Think of endurance as the foundation beneath every triumph. While the world cheers the visible victories, it's the silent, unseen struggle that makes those victories possible. Your power comes not from fleeting moments, but from the deep wells of persistence that define your character. By embracing silent endurance,